Hello, this is Matt Braithwaite, and I just want to submit my tech training program here, or I guess lesson plan is what I should really say. So let me head over to Google Slides here, and what I want to do, whoops, let me go back, sorry. I want to share the screen, and we're going to come over here to Google Slides. Move that down real quick. Okay, so I would do this with Quizlet. From my understanding, I've talked with our technology coach at our high school, and most of our teachers either do not use or are not familiar with Quizlet. So let me go a little bit through Quizlet and what I would do with it. So as far as activities to begin, where most of the teachers haven't used it or are not familiar, my general activity to begin is simply to help them create an account and to give them a brief overview of the functions of Quizlet, as well as some simple integration ideas with Canvas for the upcoming school year. For the outcomes, I'm going to make a short training video where they can reference it when they're making a new set of cards on their own, or if they're integrating their learning, their teaching for students in Canvas. So, the expectation is that obviously a teacher will be able to, after the short video, be able to go into Quizlet, produce a set of cards for whatever course it is, science, shop, PE, and then be able to share those with the students, whether that be just a link or if it's embedded in a Canvas course or anything like that. For the learning, for teachers, what I would have them ultimately do to share a little bit of their learning would be to just share a brief reply of what it is they've done to implement using Quizlet in their classes. What I personally like about Quizlet is that it's an easy tool to use for a variety of scenarios, and it has a number of great features to share things like usage, percentages, how many people are involved in studying, and so there's a number of good things about it that I like for the measured part there. So when people are going back to the class, and you want to really see how people are actually doing with it, I'd probably just give a short post survey about 1 or 2 weeks after, to just get general feedback and verify that people have had time to implement. Obviously, if they haven't, that's fine as well. You'd obviously just want to ensure that people are getting the help they need to be able to implement a new tool for their classes if they really want to. So, and then student learning, I found that I like this because, for example, one of the features I especially like is Quizlet Live. As long as you have at least 4 people, you can have students broken up into teams, and from that point forward, it'll highlight terms that students have done well with. It'll highlight terms students have struggled with. And then there's also choices to play games. Students can review cards, for example, just in a traditional flashcard style sense. So there's a lot of ways to be able to track that, and to me, that's something that's pretty neat there. So, so breaking away from that, so what I want to share now with this next piece then is embedding Quizlet into Canvas. So I'm going to come over here to Quizlet, and I've got an account myself already, and I just this past year decided to upgrade to the Teacher Pro instead of just a basic account. And so what I like about this is you can get things like audio and pictures included in your flashcards, which is really, really nice. So I'm going to show, for example, here a few basic things. So number one, right, I logged in there. I guess I should log back out just to show, but you know, when obviously people are first coming in, you know, if they click on the sign up, they'll go through and create a basic account, okay? And like many programs today, if you have a Gmail already set up, then you can just continue with Google, and that's really nice. I just created an account anyways, and so to me that was really easy to do, no big problems. So anyways, once you're in, at the top, you'll see that you've got some general choices of things that you can do. Number one, you can search for cards, any kind of cards you want. Since I teach Spanish, for the most part, I usually am researching Spanish sets of cards. So if I wanted to find something about food in Spanish, I can just type that in the search engine, and then it will take a sec to pull up all kinds of examples, and some have pictures, some don't, but then I can choose which one I want, okay? And so that's really convenient. And then if I want to browse, I can just browse by topics. So you can see over here we've got all kinds of choices for different categories, and that's kind of the thing I like best. There's just lots and lots of options. And then finally, you can create your own cards. I've done this before. You can have a title for it, and then you obviously from here, you can have an image if you want it to be representative of the whole set of cards. And then from here, you just start typing in what it is you want. So for example, if I was doing foods and I wanted to do, you know, apple, it picks up that I've got English to start, and then I can type in la manzana, and that works great, okay? Whoops. Or if I want to, and I'll choose the language here, English, yep. Or if I want to, once I've typed in apple over here, then I usually get some drop-down choices of maybe there's already one that I actually want to just use ahead. And so if I'm particular about using articles, maybe I want la manzana. If I'm not too worried about it, I might just say manzana, and that works great. And then finally, if I want to add an image of an apple for my students to help them with recognition and memory, then I can go ahead and add an image that's available here. Now this is part of the Teacher Pro version because I paid, I think it's like $30 for a full year. I used some of my teacher money that I got to do that. Or if you have one, you can always just upload your own image. So that's a choice there. But anyways, once you finish, then you can go ahead and click create, and it will create this set of cards, okay? So I'm going to show you a set that I've made already, and I've used this for general study before, but this is called Sports and Pastimes, and I usually use this when I'm talking about expressing likes and dislikes. So in Spanish we say me gusta, okay, or no me gusta. So some cool functions here. Just want to be brief about these. Don't want to take lots and lots of time, but so students can study flashcards like a traditional sense. So you see a term here. I could start in Spanish or English. You have a choice. If I want to flip it, I can either click on the card and do that. And normally my audio would be a little bit louder, but it will actually say this out loud, okay? And so, and then if I flip it back, it will say it in Spanish, okay? And then to go to the next one, either click on the arrow, or you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move along as well, okay? So that's how that works. Learn is a really neat feature. I'll just share this a little bit. So in this one, okay, you need to answer every term correctly twice to finish, okay? So I've got 56 terms to start. I'm familiar when I get 1 check mark, and I've mastered it when I get 2, okay? So to climb mountains, I've got 4 choices down here, and I need to decide which one is climbing mountains. Well, I can see montañas kind of looks similar to the word mountains, and I may not be familiar with escalar, but maybe if I'm thinking that might sound something like escalator. So this probably is the one that I'm thinking makes the most sense, and it's correct. So great. Now in this sense, now they're going to ask me to type something. So I need to play like a sport or a game. So I remember that when I'm talking about playing sports or games, I am using the verb jugar. Now chatting. I might forget this one, and instead of saying something like charlar, I might say hablar, which is still to speak, and you'd probably be okay, but it's not the actual specific. Okay, so I need to study this one and practice, okay? So I said hablar, and the correct answer was charlar. Now you also have the option to actually override it if you feel like you're correct, and you could actually verify and submit work like that. And then you can also listen to the audio for that, okay? So anyways, there's that, okay? I'm just gonna show one more option because again, I don't wanna take an incredible amount of time on this portion. If I go back to sports and pastimes, one last function that I really like a lot is you can actually have students test themselves on their own and get instant feedback. Okay, so this is really cool. You have choices of how you want to set this up. So what you do is once you've created all the terms you've wanted, you come down here to options, and down here you've got the question types: written, matching, multiple choice, true and false. And if you want grading options, I'm not sure if this one's part of the Teacher Pro or just the regular general. If it's the Teacher Pro, then sorry about that. But then anyways, you can choose if you want students to answer, if you're doing languages like I do, I can choose if I want them to answer with Spanish or English. And then I can decide how many questions I want, and I can decide if I want to include the pictures with it or not. Because I may feel like, well, if I include pictures for all the questions, my kids are just going to bank on using their picture knowledge versus their recognition of words as a possibility there. If I feel like I need more options, I can show advanced, okay? And so, for example, I can prompt with Spanish or English as an example, okay? Anyways, once I do set my options how I want, I click Create New Test, and from here, it generates a new test. So you can see to start, I've got written, and some of these don't have pictures, some of them do have pictures. Then I get to matching, okay? So students have to match the picture with the letters, then multiple choice, pretty standard. And then the last section again would be true and false. And I look at the picture and I decide if the phrase going from, for example, this one is Spanish to English, does that make sense? And then I have to decide, oh, does soccer, does that go to el football, true or false? All those kind of ideas, okay? And then anyways, once you're done, you click check answers. And I'll just click on it. And I didn't get anything right. I didn't answer anything, but it gives me instant feedback. And so right away, I know what I need to next time pay attention to. Normally, if I've placed an answer and I'm incorrect, it will show me the correct answer. So that's really helpful in that part. Okay. So let me go back here. I want to show this last piece of how to now work this into Canvas, because that's the piece that a lot of us are going to be working toward this school year. So you may have something that you want to not always have the kids have to remember. So for example, they may have to remember what the title of the flashcards are, or they may have to remember what your username is to look you up when they're trying to find the cards. And sometimes, right, we just forget these things. So what I want to do is this then. I want to come down here to these little ellipse buttons, and where it says embed, I'm going to click on this, okay? And the drop down arrow here is not so critical, but if you have a specific format that you would like to start with for your students when you're going to embed this in Canvas, then you can make that choice. So let's say I just want my kids to be able to practice with flashcards. So I'm going to click flashcards, and I'm going to click copy HTML. So now I'm going to head over to Canvas, okay? And in Canvas, probably most of you are somewhat familiar, but just a quick review. I actually made up sort of a sample practice course, so I'll take you to the beginning for me. In this sense, when you're going to do an activity like this, it really doesn't matter too much, but I would either put this under assignments or quizzes, depending if you want it to be a practice activity or if you actually want it to be something that you're going to give a grade for, okay? But for right now, I'm going to just come over to assignments, okay? And once I get into assignments, from here, I will click on create assignment, okay, brand new assignment, and I'm going to give it a simple title of sports and pastimes, okay. And you always have to make sure you give some sort of a due date for these activities, otherwise you're not able to save things. You can decide how many points you want to make it worth, or if you don't want it to be worth any points, that's just fine because we're under assignments. And then you can choose what category group you want it to be under. So I'm going to put this in my assignment category group for me personally, so I know where to find it when I'm going to look it up in the future, okay? And then you can decide how you want the grade to be displayed. Percentages, complete, incomplete, point, letter grade, or not graded, and that's fine. In this case, I'm just simply going to do percentage. It's pretty simple, okay? And you can choose to say, do I want to count it towards the final grade or not? So again, you have flexibility, okay? When you're submitting it, you know, are you going to have the students submit it online, on paper, or through an external tool? In this case, it's an external tool. So I'm going to use Quizlet.com, okay? And probably, okay, so it may pull up and say, please enter the URL, but if you press it a second time, it should come through. So I'm going to choose Quizlet. And now at this point, I've got sports and pastimes. Oh, I didn't pull that up. That's a little silly. I'm not sure why I did that. Let's exit that. And let's try just one more time. We'll see what happens here. Maybe we'll get it to work and maybe not. And if not, this will be a good learning for me. So I'm going to try one more time. Sports and pastimes. No results. Okay. So what we'll do is this then. So I did copy. So if I don't want to use an external tool then, which apparently right now that may not be working well, then maybe I'm just going to stick to an online. And so I might have them do or I might have them do no submission, because what we're doing here is we're going to be embedding a code into our text box over here, okay? So because we copied, if you remember from over here, we copied an HTML code. We want to click on our HTML editor right here, okay? And now we're going to paste our code, okay? So so now I've done that, and you can decide your settings. Do you want it to be a group activity? Do you want students to review things? In this case, I wouldn't be worried about that. So I'm going to click on save. I don't want to necessarily publish it just yet, but I want to save this. And once it saves, and hopefully it will move along for us. So I think we have everything we need. Unless I missed some. Oh, maybe I'll just select on paper for this for a submission type. Let's try that now. Okay. Well, it's taking a sec, so I'll continue on for just a moment. So what should happen then is you'll get this assignment created, and then you will see pulled up an opportunity for the kids to click on the assignment link when you publish it finally, okay? And so let's see this. Okay, so now it's uploading there. That's good. And I'll try it from here so you can show this. This is still in the preview phase, but this will still work okay. So this looks just like what we saw when we were over at Quizlet, if you remember. It has pictures of, I'll X out of this, okay? It has pictures that go along with our terms, okay? So let me show you here. Let me go to full screen. Okay, so skateboard, and then it has the term in Spanish. So that is what this is looking like. But now it's just in Canvas, okay? So the kids don't have to remember where to go in Quizlet, okay? Anyways, and so from here, right, there's some choices. You can just have the cards autoplay for a student. You can shuffle them, or you can have them have different options of how they're going to practice. Do I want audio on? Do I need more choices? And all those type of things, okay? And then finally, they can actually still choose different study modes. So maybe they've done flashcards and they're feeling good, and now they feel like they want to do matching, okay? So they click the down arrow for matching, and in this one that says, okay, you need to drag corresponding items onto each other to make them disappear. Great. Okay, so I see to read and I see layered. So I remember that those match up together. I see wrestling and La Lucha Libre. And I remember my movie experience with Nacho Libre works good. And El Baseball goes with baseball. And I can remember that painting is pintar. And I recognize música. And so I'm pretty sure that escuchar música is my listening to music. And then that leaves me with just charlar and chatting. And then it tells me what my time was. And then it tells me also who the top person in that category was, okay? And if I want to try again, I can. And if your kids are really competitive, it shows even all their different times. And if they know their usernames, they might start obviously having a little friendly competition. So anyways, these are just a few of the things that I really, really like about Quizlet. And I also have appreciated being able to integrate this into Canvas. And so this is one of the things I probably like best about using these kind of tools and working together. So anyways, hope that helps out a little bit for a really fun tool. And again, if you haven't ever used Quizlet, I personally think it's a really teacher-friendly, student-friendly tool. This works really well when you're wanting to introduce a topic, review a topic, and even test a topic, okay? And there's lots of options of how you want to work it up to. You can create classes and invite kids to be in the classes so they know they're a part of a group. You can create folders, and you can create your own sets, and there's just lots of great choices here. So hope some of these things helped you out, and hope that hope something there was an insightful tool for you to possibly look at implementing for you this upcoming school year. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you later. Bye.